I was absolutely right. And even if I'm wrong, I'm just a few degrees from being right, because today we're going to talk about how Egg Warrior is a legitimate deck in Hearthstone, and I have some pretty indisputable, evidence in order to support my claim. So go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are an Egg Warrior enthusiast. I'm going to walk you through everything that has happened through this archetype in the past week, because I was the only person really playing this deck about a week or so ago, but this archetype has now exploded to where legitimate players at the top of the ladder are actually trying it. I know, it's blowing my mind too, so let's go ahead and get into it. If you look at the stats on HS Guru for Egg Warrior in particular, in fact, when you go to the front page, you are currently met with this screen, and Egg Warrior is the last deck on the first line. So then when you go and click stream, you will be taken to this screen right here where you will see that I was playing this deck at a pretty low rank. I'm not gonna lie, I had a really bad day yesterday. My win rate was absolutely atrocious, but 2 days ago, I had a really good win rate with not only Egg Warrior, but with Dragon Arcane Mage, and there will most likely be another video talking about that here in the future. But the thing I really want to focus on is the second player, Sir Berserk, who is on the EU server that usually tries to climb around, top 10 legend. And as you can see, he currently peaked at rank 7 with this deck. And if you go into the VOD, there is one particular game I really want to point out. It's the fact that he was going up against a mirror match at top 10 legend against Levik, who is the main reason why I've been trying out this deck again, because Levik at top 10 legend on EU has been playing Egg Warrior to the point where it has now inspired Sir Berserk, SR Berserk, in order to try this archetype out for himself, and he ended up winning the game here, I believe. Blah, 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 blah. There's the victory. He's now at rank 8 legend, trying out this deck, and he maybe went a little bit further with the deck here. The point that I'm trying to make here is that there are 2 players in top 10 EU legend that are trying and winning with Egg Warrior. So I just feel like that has to be said, because now we're going to look into the data of the deck itself, and it's kind of going to prove my point about how a really good player is going to be able to take this deck all the way to the top. So as of right now on HSReplay, Warrior is not sitting in the top of the food chain anymore. Shaman has absolutely taken the reins of the meta, and everything is centered around what can beat Shaman currently. And this Warrior deck does have some ways of beating Shaman, as long as you don't get your egg hex, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the stats on how in the legend ranks, Egg Warrior is sitting at a 48.9% win rate, 300 games, and it is starting to pick up in popularity. This is awesome. I love to see this deck be a bit more explored, because apparently my list with Abusive Sergeant was probably not the way to go, which is usually how these things happen. You make a deck, you get it popular, and then other people will start to optimize it, and then boom, you got yourself a legitimate meta-relevant, meta-breaking archetype. But here's the thing that I really want to point out. Since there's a little bit more data that we can salvage on HS Guru, if you look at the meta tab, and if you put all the data to 100 games, you can get the most amount of decks, even with the sparse amount of data that might be supporting them. And if you check out in Diamond through Legend, Egg Warrior has a 44.9% win rate. So in Diamond through Legend, the deck is probably not the greatest, but I feel like this is a bit of a skill issue and a piloting issue. Because when you take a look at Legend, the stats change. It's now 46.5% win rate, and same thing with Egg Warlock. And Egg Warlock, spoiler alert, is also very good right now. We might be making a video talking about it in the future. But in regular Legend, 46.5% win rate. But then when you go to top 5K Legend, there is still enough data for this deck to peek through, and it is now sitting at a 48.3% win rate. And remember that win rate I told you earlier about this? 48.9. This was also in the Legend bracket. So what you are seeing here is legitimately, as you go higher into the Legend ranks, the win rate of this deck gets better. So not only does it actually have a chance against the meta-relevant decks that you might be seeing, this really is a pilot skill issue for most people. And sadly, at top 1000 Legend, there is not enough data on Egg Warrior, but you can see Egg Lock sitting at a 51% versus I think in Diamond through Legend, like we just saw earlier, it was barely sitting at a 45%. So I really do believe that egg decks take a little bit more finesse than most people realize. And today, we're going to be taking a look through the deck, but don't forget, if you do want to support the channel, we do have a sale going on with Into the AM. HSReplay.com and you can get potentially another 10% off of your order with coupon code ClarkHS10. Gotta get my meal ticket at the end of the day, gotta put it in the ads. If you want to support the content and get some hella good clothes that I actually wear all the time myself, then check out the link in below and you can use coupon code ClarkHS10 in order to get that extra discount. But now let's actually talk about the Levik Egg Warrior, and let's really see the main differences this deck has compared to my list, which was running probably not the best card that you could use. So the biggest difference with this deck is the inclusion of the Acolyte of Pain, and there's a very good reason to put this card into your deck. And originally, I had thought about putting in the Acolyte of Pain, but I was just all in on trying to crack the egg and get the 2020 value as quickly as possible. But the main reason why this card goes in here is to give yourself the consistency of having your cubes or your Umbra whenever you need them. So here's what I like to point out. So you obviously want to play the egg on turn 3 almost every single game, right? Well, if you have an opportunity on, like, say, turn 6, turn 7 to play Acolyte of Pain into Shell NATO, not only can you remove your opponent's board and crack your egg, but you can draw 4 cards in the process, so that way you can enact your game plans of playing the cube or playing the Endbringer Umbra. There's essentially 2 different ways of, well, I guess 3 now with the Watcher, but we'll get to that here in a second. There are essentially 3 main win conditions with this deck, to where you want to crack the egg all the way to its final stage, where it'll summon the 2020, and then you cube this particular minion, so that way the 2020 hatches, and now you have another egg being brought out of the cube that will, when it breaks, bring out another 2020 minion. There's another way of playing out this deck, and that's by fully cracking the egg and then playing your Umbra in order to refill the board with a bunch of other eggs that you can still interact with all of your, busting cards, like your Siphon of Growth, your Bashes, your Precursory Strikes. You have so many ways of dealing with this egg, it feels kind of like cheating at the end of the day. Another new inclusion that Levik put into this deck that I'm kind of mad at myself for not thinking about is obviously Shield Slam, because this is a great card at not only killing the egg, if you want to do that, if you want to go all in on getting that 2020 as early as possible, but I mean, having removal against bigger minions is also just a good thing. So Shield Slam 100% deserves a spot in this deck. But the last thing that I really want to talk about is the Watcher, because this is the #1 question that I got. Clark, do I need to spend the 1600 dust on this card in order to make this deck the best version that it can be? In my professional opinion, I'm going to go ahead and say no, but I feel like you could put this card in your deck and have a higher win rate, but I don't think this card is 100% necessary to run in your deck. So if you are somebody that really can't afford to run this legendary, a second copy of Brawl should be good enough for you. And the main thing that I really like about this card is that if you have the 2020 on the field and there's like a taunt in the way and you want to deal that lethal amount of damage, you can damage your 2020, play this, now suddenly you have a 20 attack minion with a rush that'll hopefully get through that taunt, and then you have your original copy that can go face. So there are some, really good applications of this card, as well as like making another egg at the right moment, especially if it's on the last step, and if you have the Sanguine Depths on the field, you can make a copy of that egg and then get 2 2020s, and in some matchups, that's just going to kill your opponent. But here's the thing about this deck that absolutely needs to be said. This deck is all about knowing what your opponent's thresholds are. It really does feel like this is one of those decks to where you have an actual game plan against every single meta-relevant deck out there. It is all about the skill ceiling. It is all about the decisions that you make within the game. And if you throw the wrong card out at the wrong time, you will be massively punished with this style of deck. It is very important that you understand what is going on in the moment, so that way you can not only enact your own game plan, but you can reject your opponent's game plan all the time. But there you guys have it. That is the new version of Egg Warrior that I would highly recommend to try on the ladder, because it does feel like the best version of this deck. And the reason why I'm making another video about this deck is because I absolutely love archetypes that have a high skill ceiling that really force you to playing the deck well in order to have success with it. It may seem like a simple deck that's all about, popping the eggs as quickly as possible and then setting up that 2020, but there are going to be some moments as you climb with this deck to where, your egg is is almost cracked, and then you're going up against, like, say, a rogue, for example, and then they play minions that destroy your egg, and then they do purchase your 2020, and if you don't have the Umbra ready to go by that time, you're just going to be a sitting duck as you wait for those key cards for those key moments. So it may not seem like there's a lot underneath the shell of a deck like this, but trust me, a good player is going to have an obscenely high win rate with this deck, and if you are somebody that's kind of struggling with this deck, then you can use this as an opportunity to really learn this deck, figure out those little patches that you're missing out, those little holes that you just need to fill in, and then suddenly it'll all make sense, and you'll feel so much better playing a new archetype and feeling like you actually learned something at the end of the day. Remember when Hearthstone decks used to really teach you lessons at the end of the day and make you appreciate the game a bit more? I think if you try Egg Warrior, you will have that feeling yourself. And as always, if you like this kind of content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and blah, 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 blah. Let's see how good the new version of Egg Warrior is. Just always remember, Clark HELLSCREAM is always right. So thank you so much for making it to the end of this deck breakdown, and we'll see you all for the next video. Like, to say that, you know, I'm saying that it's disrespectful, and then to say something that's even more disrespectful about it, I do. First mage was versus Arcade Mage, the new OTK one. Also didn't get his Skaters. Skaters not running Arcade Mage, at least not to my knowledge. I didn't even think about shield. You want to do me a favor and hit the egg for me? Oh, crap. Might have misplayed. Might have played a bit too much for the egg here. Alright. If he deals with the egg, it's kind of fine, but I don't have a really good turn 6 here. Double cube is... ugh. Oh, Hagatha, why is Shudder scary? Well, I mean, that was one reason. But it just means that he has tempo. Like, he's just on the board, and I have to stop it. And now he has this into, like, double... he's got, like, triple 8/8s, actually, now. That's also a problem. I think we'll be fine, though, because, like, if he makes the 8/8s and then trades, he's losing board. I'm about to cube summon this, and I can maybe get 2 more from this. And he'll actually have some issue making board to smack me in the face, so this just kind of does a lot. Only 1 brawl in the deck is pretty interesting. In order to get the value from this, he has to trade 4 minions, which means this is nothing's hitting me in the face. Oh, really? Okay, that's fine. I damn near want to just cube again. Scary, but like, I can kind of handle this, right? Kind of annoying he has that taunt on the field, but... like, as long as I don't giga low roll, I should be fine.
My people will regret their bastard.
There we go. Give me another one. Another one. Another one. Nice. Nice!
Clark HELLSCREAM, the best Hearthstone player that ever lived.
Is this board-based combat? Have I played Discover Hunter? I haven't because everyone else is already playing it, and there's so much to explore. I don't need to be another person playing that deck right now. I kind of need some armor. There's some armor.
The Titan's puppets.
Hey, speak to me.
Why don't we play Draconic Devastator? In this deck, it's just unnecessary. You don't need it to pop the eggs. You're only thinking about that because we just played Umbra. At that point, Brawl would just be better. What's the appeal to watching someone in super low legend? The fact that they play things that you won't usually see, and you might see clips that wouldn't happen in a top 1000 stream. You see so much creative deck building that happens at this rank, and I feel like the only reason why someone wouldn't enjoy that is because it's not meta. And when that's your argument for not enjoying something, then like, I don't know. I feel like it's just like, it depends on what you want to see, obviously. But the game is infinitely more interesting with decks like this existing. Think of it this way. Why make an egg be able to attack for 4 mana when you can do it for 1 mana?
I never make 2 trips. I never make 2 trips.
Why don't we play Logosh? Good question. Guys, if we played Logosh, then it would activate the death rattle of the minion, which means if my Logosh missed his value and I have the other Fabled cards in my hand, then I could play Umbra and I could bring that Fabled card from my hand. It's genius. Right? Isn't that just turbo genius? All right, Acolyte, come on, give me something good. That is, mwah. Oh, so just mwah, just mwah. I just love these cards. I could just kiss them, just mwah. I love these. I love this. Bam. Why don't you play the mushroom guy? Huge value nuke. Wait, what mushroom guy? YouTube, what do you mean mushroom guy?
I never make 2 trips.
People are here for Hearthstone gameplay. I'm just here for Radio Clark. Hell yeah. Oh! I just gotta do this now. No point in waiting.
The Titan's experiments will not be disappointed.
Big minion. Not bad, dude. Any update on your life? I mean, what update? I mean, I'm in the same house. I'm still making Hearthstone content. I've been here for over a year now.
Clark HELLSCREAM.
I guess the only real life update I can give you is I started some therapy today. How about that? W mental health. I'm working out more. I'm exercising more.
The sounds
That's cool.
speak, and I listen.
Bro doesn't know Mushroom Guy. I don't know Mushroom Guy. No, what's Mushroom Guy? You talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Mushroom Man? Pretty good. Pretty good, dude. Okay, I think I'd rather draw, actually. Hold on. Do this, then this. Not bad. I'm only here because you spew the most nonsense during Hearthstone. I know, I do, because nonsense is what gets people here, man. You gotta break the mold one way or another. I would rather be, you know what I would rather be, chat? I would rather be interesting than intriguing. I'm sorry, no, I'd rather be intriguing than interesting. Sorry, I misspoke. Basically a gesture. I mean, what do you think streamers are? Streamers are just modern day gestures, bro. Okay, I could just play the Acolyte to bait him into attacking it. Because then we have boom into boom into potentially boop boop if we have enough armor, and I think we definitely will. Okay. He clearly doesn't understand what I'm doing here. However, can I take the card draw? I think I can, right? 4 draws for 2 cards. 5 to 4. Yep. Yoink. Give me my cards. Nice. And now we have Siphon Growth, so even if we can't shield slam it, we're okay. This is someone else's egg deck. They got to rank 11 EU. Yes, it is Levik's. Levik, the Russian former Grandmaster. Because Grandmasters don't exist anymore, unfortunately. Or would it be fortunate? Yeah, it depends on how you look at it. Regardless, I am trying out this deck because someone is currently somehow winning with this deck in top 10 EU. Which is nuts. My 40-year-old son read the Santa Claus isn't real, started to show the Erusian text, and he cried. Are you happy now? I mean, hey, man, if he's 40 years old and just now finding out, he's been sheltered. His entire world has been shattered. Don't tell him about the Easter Bunny. I need to find the Umbra. Or a cube, or a cube, or a cube. Never mind. We're good. I think we're okay. I think we're fine. I think I'm fine.
Victory is yours.
What's that good old saying that if gamers had their way, they would optimize the fun right out of the game? This is why reading comprehension is fun. Why is how's Wild boring? It's the complete opposite. Because Wild is a very safe format, quote unquote. Wild is a safe format where people do not go to experiment, really. Unless you're just like, you know, really into deck building. But the reason why it feels like there's not a lot of interesting things that happen in Wild is because there are less people that play the format. And since there are less people that play the format, there are less reasons. So there's less people experimenting with things. Is Fyrak worth turning into dust? Technically speaking, it's always worth crafting your card, or always worth dusting refund cards, because you could always recraft them. Okay, hold on, I have Shield Slam. So, boom, 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 firepower. Legend? Yeah, but like what legend? Like what? I need a reference point. Are you low legend? Are you high legend?
My God.
Okay, this is a horrible hand.
Like
as soon as I get egg, we're
best Hearthstone
chilling.
player that ever lived.
Can't believe this is my turn. Oh man, the classic are wild players better than standard players? Oh boy, I love this conversation. Hello, egg. This is about to get heated. It's really not, because it's such a lukewarm argument. You want to know my take on who's smarter, wild players or standard players? I mean, the answer is just wild, and the only reason why is because there's more cards to think about. But here's the other unfortunate truth. The skill ceiling for a player potential, I believe, is much higher in Wild, but the deck potential is much higher in Standard. I believe you see more variety in Standard metas than you do in Wild metas, because Wild metas, people are Omega safe. I don't feel like there's a lot of experimentation that's happening in the Wild format. Pokemon? Okay, yeah, that would be a better comparison. It was like Hearthstone's Pokemon. I always do new things, to be frank. I mean, that's great, but we just need more of that. Because the issue is, I feel like there's just not enough people that are actively looking for interesting wild content. They're just not. The only thing carrying wild were the personalities that were playing it, and now all those personalities are gone. So people have just naturally fizzled out of it. Doesn't sound too bad, to be honest. I mean, it really isn't in concept, but it's one of those games where the more you play it, it's not really that enjoyable, and it was over monetized. It just felt like they literally made the game mode in order to microtransact the fuck out of it. You should not make a game to microtransact people. You should make a game for fun, and then you add microtransactions if you really need to. Very incorrect. I mean, to the general public, that's the opinion. You had to spend a lot of money to get into it, and at that point, if you didn't... How much time did you have to invest in order to unlock shit? It was ridiculous. I remember looking at the chart. Ooh, wait a minute. Whoop. Whoop.
The Titan's experiments will not be disrupted.
Yeah, instant multiverse, the Shaman card, 6 mana. There's an interaction where if you have 6 minions on the board and you cast that spell, it'll automatically summon an Ultra Giga Sword. Guaranteed. It's a peculiar interaction. Oh, that's disrespect. Oh god, I love this matchup so much, man.
Let the pain speak to me.
Yeah, Acolyte, very good addition to this deck. Like, I thought about Acolyte when I was first building this deck, but I just couldn't find a way to fit it, because I wanted to put in Abusive. And I just assumed that times like this, like, you would just be killing your opponent. But this is just a good way of making the game go on longer and finding the Umbra when you need it. I think Skater is one of the worst designed cards in history. It's pretty crazy, honestly. I don't think it's the worst card by any stance. The worst design is Mind Render Elucia. Without a doubt. Mind Render Elucia is the worst card to ever grace our presence in Hearthstone. And I don't even think it's close. It's infuriating as a card. Yeah, it's infuriating, but nothing's more infuriating than your opponent taking your hand, or I'm sorry, your opponent swapping your hand with nothing and essentially playing a pseudo time warp. And when it's not being used as a time warp, it's being used to make you leave the game either way. So yeah, just despise that card. This might have been a mistake. I don't know. Maybe this was wrong. 4-mana Theatar, yeah. 4-mana Theatar was a criminal. He had to be stopped. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I should have killed that.
I am not always perfect, but often.
I mean, if he's using it on this...
Amazing.
I know, right? How's a Bio Hunter good? Explain. We're talking about when it was good. We're not talking about how it is now. Like, Imbue Hunter was one of the worst designed decks that has ever existed. Full stop. All right. You can't Deos it. Oh, he can't even play the Protoss card. Do they even significantly play? Do they even do significant playtesting for sets? I would hope so. That's always the hope. Now, whether or not they actually do that is controversial. Some people would say they do not. I know I say this every time this band comes on, but god damn, I love bass like this, dude. I need more dueling basses.
Time runs out on me.
Every turn you don't play Warp Gate is a turn it's not okay. Wait, hold on, don't you dare, no, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you dare, don't you fucking dare, don't you fucking dare. Okay, rude. I can deal with that, but rude. There's no reason to do anything. And Bee Hunter was fine on expansion launch, maybe a decent scam deck, but then Tending Dragonkin happened and it became Shafar Hunter, but even worse somehow. I still disagree with that because the concept behind a Bee Hunter is just so frustrating. Like, yeah, the Tending Dragonkin pushed it overboard by a lot, but a deck like that is just crazy. I play 30 attack minion and it also returns all minions. Oh my god, that's crazy. I love King Plush, the plushie. I hate King Plush, the card, though. Despise it. Yo, Lestatis!
TLC have my Bezos bucks.
Thank you for the Bezo bucks. Welcome back to the Horde, and thank you for the 3 months of support, my friend. Hope you're enjoying the egg action. The power of my egg is strong. The power of my egg will persevere. You think Monk is coming to Hearthstone? I don't think so, personally. I think adding another class is... I feel like the only way that Blizzard is going to be able to add another class is if they get more people working on this game. Because we already sometimes have balance issues, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Also 5-0.